Some stories we live through quietly whispers of the heart we don't always speak aloud, but sharing them may help others see the path a little more clearly. This is one such story from my life in the countryside, where trust was quietly tested. My name is Catherine Whitmore, and 2 years ago, my husband Edward and I moved from London to a quiet hamlet in Devonshire. We longed for something simpler, rolling fields, the scent of wild thyme, and mornings that began with birdsong rather than the sound of traffic. Our cottage sits near the edge of a woodland with a winding brook just beyond the hill. It's peaceful, here an ideal place, we thought, to start a family. Not long after settling in, we were introduced to our nearest neighbours, Philip and Elaine. They were in their early 40s, like us, childless but kind-hearted. In time, we shared picnics, took lazy walks through the woods, and foraged for mushrooms during the damp autumn months. Philip's work often took him away, sometimes for weeks at a time. Elaine, understandably, began to feel isolated. She started asking Edward for the odd favour trimming hedges, fixing a leaky tap, or lifting heavy flower pots. At first, I thought little of it. Edward is gentle, and General's always the first to offer help. But soon I noticed Elaine changed. When Edward was around, her clothes became more carefully chosen. Her voice softened. Her smile lingered. I brushed it, oft tried not to be that sort of wife. But doubt is a quiet guest that settles in slowly. I watched silently as Edward began spending more time at Elaine's. He always explained it away. She just needed help with her fence, or her garden gate jammed again. But a woman knows. I asked him one evening as we washed up the dishes, "Why do you spend so much time with Elaine?" He looked startled. "I'm only helping. She's lonely with Philip away." I nodded, but my heart remained unsettled. From then on, whenever he went next door, I found an excuse to follow. I'd pop by to return a dish or borrow some sugar. Elaine always greeted me sweetly, but behind her eyes was something else. Admiration, perhaps, or possession. Then came the evening I watched them from our window. Too close, laughing, whispering. Something twisted inside me. I stepped out. "Everything all right?" I asked, my voice even but sharp. Elaine gave me that maddening smile. "Oh yes, just chatting about roses." Edward said nothing. His silence was louder than words. That night, I told him the truth. I didn't trust Elaine. I didn't like how she looked at him or how he lingered near her. Edward was quiet. Then he said, "I didn't realize it bothered you. I'll stop." And he did. Over the next few weeks, Edward came straight home after work. He spent more time with me in the garden. We laughed again, walked together, talked of plans and dreams. Slowly, peace returned to my heart. One afternoon, Elaine came by with a lemon drizzle cake, smiling as always. "Is Edward home?" "He's busy," I replied, standing firmly in the doorway. She didn't return often after that. Later, in the village shop, she said something that made my skin crawl. "Your Edward is such a dear. I'd be lost without him." "Yes," I answered, smiling thinly. "I'm quite lucky, and I mean to keep him." Eventually, Philip returned. Soon after, the couple moved away. A job offer in Surrey, I believe. I didn't miss her. Edward and I stayed in Devon. We tended our garden. We adopted a scruffy little terrier. we began trying for a child. I share this story not out of bitterness, but because I've learned something worth sharing. Trust is not something you declare, it's something you build. And when doubts arise, speak them. Don't let silence become the space where misunderstandings grow, because in the quiet corners of our lives, love deserves to be defended. If this story touched your heart or reminded you of your own quiet strength, do like, subscribe, and share. You never know who might need to hear it today.